Okay, the streaming is not working. Let me try that again. Let's see. Once more we try. Yeah, it's working now. And okay. And then we go, okay. Let's go back here. Oh, all right. Okay. Apps. All the classes are being watched now by artificial intelligence, and they make summaries of each of the classes. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. I guess we are ready to go. Okay. One second, there's a little glitch here. Okay. All right. Chant one of my favorite songs. Tulsi's song. Namo Namah Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namah Radha Krishna Seva Power Hey Avilasi Radha Krishna Seva Power Hey Avilasi Yetomar Shanoi Taravan Kori Koratare Vrindavana Vasi Ora Hey Avilash Vilas Kunjedi Ovas Nayane Rivasaya Yugala Seva Hari Go Tani Pranachanti Radhaksina Pare Pute Yani Gandhi Japapani Brahmachari Kali Java Tani Tani Pranachanti Radhaksina Pare Pute Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Tulsi Devi Jaya Tulsi Devi Jaya Tulsi Devi Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravalikacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Govardhana Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Ki Jai Majuradam Ki Jai Jagadava Swami Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namah Vishnupadaya. Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyacha Deja Tarne Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, let's see, what am I going to do? Oh, okay, anyway. So, we're going to go on to Caitanya Bhagavat. I was going to show you a video first, but maybe I should. Okay. Maybe I'll show you a video first of an ecstatic, just a few seconds of an ecstatic Rath Yatra that we had. And give me 1 second to share it. Share, and share alike. Let's see if it'll allow me to share it. Maybe, maybe not. Or it may not even show up when I'm sharing it. Yeah. So here's the video. It's on my Facebook page in case you want to see it. And this is our Kirtan group. We're following the Rath Yatra cart. This was on television also. Okay. Okay, it's enough, Maya. we should go and do the Caitanya Bhagavat now. Okay, so now we're going to read from the Caitanya Bhagavat. And we're going to share the screen. Give me 1 second. And we'll be able to, just want to do one thing first. I have a little bit of trouble with one of my apps on the computer. Hopefully this works. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay. Let's share the screen. All right. Om Ganata Miranda Shagananjana Shlakaya Chakshuran Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes while I was blinded, opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. And so, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. All right. Let's get this window set up. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, we're set up now. So we're in a section of the Sri Caitanya Bhagavat in which we're dealing with Mother Sachi having dreams of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was Nimai at that particular time, leaving home and taking sannyas. Actually, Jagannath Mishra had the dream, sorry. And Sachi Mata is actually assuring Jagannath Mishra it's not going to happen. So we'll continue with text 107. Bunte chare nimane na jane kona karma vijurasa tarahe yache sarvadharma. He is not interested in anything other than his studies, as if that had become his life and soul. So don't worry about him taking sannyas, because he has no other interest, even other than his studies. So why would he take sannyas? Because then he'd probably have to give up his studies. E mata paramavdara tui jana nana kataka putra snehahera karana. In this way, the most exalted couple discuss various topics out of affection for their son. In other words, all their topics, even their anxiety, was spiritual. So a devotee doesn't want to become free from anxiety. A devotee wants to have anxiety for Krishna, how to please Krishna, how to spread Krishna consciousness, how to bring people to Krishna consciousness. Anxiety over the poor conditioned souls, anxiety over Krishna's pleasure, anxiety over the deity's pleasure, anxiety over the spiritual master's pleasure. This anxiety is wonderful, and devotees pray for it. And especially the anxiety of what? Separation. Jugayitam nimishena chakshusha prashayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. What does that mean? That means Govinda Vidahename, feeling your separation. I'm considering a moment to be like a yuga. Wow. And that's anxiety. You know, when time goes very slow, or slowly, that is called anxiety, isn't it? So that anxiety a devotee wants, hankers for, accepts, is happy to have. So, okay. All right, so now we get to the very sad part. Hena mate katadina taki mishravara Antardana Hela Nitya Shuddha Kalevara. After passing some days like this, Jagannath Mishra, whose body is eternally pure, departed from this world. And so Srila Bhakti Saraswati comments that the body of Jagannath Mishra is neither a product of three modes of material nature, nor is it temporary. He is transcendental to the modes of nature and non-different from Vasudeva, the personification of pure goodness. Shri Gaurachandra eternally appears in his heart. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. This is interesting. This is a famous verse. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shaktitam Yadiyate Tatra Pumana Pavrita Sattve Chatasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo Yadokshajo Me Namasa Vidhiyate. I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. So I'm going to skip the purport. Oh, it's not that long. Let me just read this because it's actually an important philosophical point. Considering the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi as products of material nature alike their own bodies, foolish materialists also dare to consider the Satchidananda body of their son, that is, the son of Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra, who is Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord Sri Gaurasundar, to be an object of material enjoyment like that of an ordinary conditioned soul. The bodies of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas are certainly not material, rather they are completely spiritual. They are not forced to undergo birth and death like conditioned souls. They eternally exist before, during, and after the material creation. In the Padma Purana it is stated, Yatha Samitra Bharata, Yatha Sankarshanadaya, Tata Denaiva Jayante Machalokam Yadrichya, Punastinaiva Yashanti, Tad Vishno Shashvatam Padam, Nakarma Bandhanam Janma, Vaishnavanam Javijite. Just as Bharata and Lakshmana, the son of Sumitra, and just as Sankarsana, and other forms of the Supreme Lord, actually sons of Sumitra, there's an editing mistake, and other forms of the Supreme Lord appear in this world by their own desire. Similarly, the Vaishnavas, who are associates of the Lord, appear with the Lord and then return to the eternal abode with the Lord. The Vaishnavas, like Vishnu, are not subjected to birth as a result of fruitive activities. They come to this world out of love for Krishna. Mishreya Vijaye Prabhu Kandila Vistara Dasaratha Vijayena Raghuvara. After his departure, the Lord cried profusely, just as Ramachandra cried after the departure of Maharaj Dasarath. The word Vijaye refers to the time of death or disappearance. Some editions use the word Virahe, which means due to separation. The description of Maharaj Dasarath's disappearance is found in the Ramayana Ajodhya Kanda, Sarga 103, verses 1, 3, 6, and 8. And that's the Valmiki Ramayana, not any other Ramayana. Durnivara Sri Gaura Chandra Akarshana Ataiva Raksha Haila Aira Jivana. Mother Shachi survived simply due to her irresistible attraction for Sri Gaurachandra. So the word Durnivara means uninterrupted or inevitable, and the words Gaurachandra Karshana referred to loving attraction for Gaura Krishna. Dukabhada He Sakala Vistara Karite Dukahaya Taiva Kahilun Sangshepe. Elaborating on these topics is too painful, therefore I have given only a brief description. Henamate Jananira Sange Gora Hari Achena Niguda Rupe Apana Samvati. In this way, Sri Gaurahari and his mother controlled their grief as they lived together in seclusion. So, of course, there's a period after the person passes away that you family members remain in seclusion and people come to their house, but they don't really go out in society after that time for some period of times. For some societies it's 14 days, for others it's 21 days. Every culture is different insofar as the number of days. Pitrihina balaka dekiya shachiai se putra seva by adakaryanai. Sachi Devi engaged fully in the service of her fatherless son, that's of course Lord Chaitanya, with no interest in any other activity. Dandekana dekayade I Gaurachandra Murchapaye I Dui Chakshe Hana Anda. If she did not see Gaurachandra for a danda, she would faint and become blinded. The word dandeka means one danda, or about 24 minutes. The words amurchapaye mean to become unconscious or senseless. The phrase dvi chakshe hana anda, she was blinded, is used because Nimai was the eyesight of Mother Shachi. That's so much love there. Prabho mayera priti kare nirantara Prabho dena tane vale ashva sautara. The Lord also constantly displayed affection and pacified his mother with pleasing words. The word prabodhena means to pacify, to solace, and the words ashvasa uttara refer to encouraging, solacing, and reassuring answers. Shunamata manikichuna chintiha tume sakalatamarache yadi achi ami. He would say, "Oh mother, don't be aggrieved. As long as I am with you, you have everything." Brahma Maheshwarera Dulavaloke Vole Tahami Tumare Anya Dimu Hele. I will readily bring you that which people consider rare for even Brahma and Shiva. Wow. Shatyo Dekite Gaurachandra Shi Mukha Deha Smriti Nahi Taki Kishi Dukha. What to speak of her distress? Oh, internet connection a fit right now. Okay, it's better. What to speak of her distress? Mother Shachi even forgot her own self upon seeing the beautiful face of Sri Gaurachandra. So seeing the beautiful lotus face, let's see how long this is. No, too long. Seeing the beautiful face of Nimai, the personification of ecstatic pastimes, his liberated servants who reside in Vaikuntha forgot themselves and gave up all desire for sense. His kingdom afflicted or Krishna and overpowered by nescience. In other words, because they identify the body as their self, they are no better than cows or asses, and they are subjected to the threefold miseries. Sachi Devi is the personification of pure goodness and happiness. She is eternally liberated and the shelter of the transcendental mellow of Vatsalya Ras, that means parental. Since Sachi Devi is continuously engaged in the service of Gaura with no desire for personal sense enjoyment, how can she be afflicted by the threefold miseries born of nescience? Yanrasmiti matrapurna haya sarva kama se prabhu yan haraputra rupe vidyamana. He whose remembrance fulfills the desires of all was personally present in the form of her son. That's actually a very interesting statement. By remembering Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, your desires are fulfilled. That doesn't mean that, okay, I desire this, I desire a new car, I desire a bigger house, I desire $1 billion. Okay, I'm remembering you, Krishna. The desire gets fulfilled in the sense that it gets extinguished if it's not necessary. Because Krishna does not fulfill desires that will lead one away from the spiritual path. But Krishna fulfills them in such a way that they are gone. Like if one desires to enjoy society, friendship, and love, don't go to see Krishna standing on the bank of the Keshi Ghat, who is playing his flute. Because when you see him like that, that desire will be fulfilled or gone. The desire, of course, the desire to enjoy society, friendship, and love. Then how do you carry out your material facilities or material responsibilities? How do you carry those things out if you have no desire to do them? Oh no. It can be a little dangerous. You do your duty to please Krishna, the same duties you did to please your little senses. Then you perform those duties to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simple like that. You don't give up your duties because Krishna doesn't want you to give up your duties. Because we're supposed to, how did Krishna advise Arjuna? To stay fixed in his duties, but remember him at the same time. That's the important thing. So, Tyahara Kimate Dukkha Rahibe Sharire Ananda Surupa Karilena Jananire. Therefore, how could she remain miserable? Rather, Shashi Devi soon recovered her blissful nature. Henamate Navaduipe Viprashishu Rupe Achena Vaikunthanata Swanubhava Sukhe. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha relished ecstasy as a Brahmin child in Navadvip. Nimai is the transcendental Satchidananda, Supreme Personality of God. It means eternity, blissful, full of knowledge. He does not experience happiness like that derived by conditioned souls from their perishable, gross, and subtle bodies born in essence. He is self-satisfied and enjoys eternal spiritual happiness. Another reading of Swanubhava Sukhe is Swanubhava Sukhe. How's that pronounced? Swanubhava Sukhe, which means happiness due to his own opulence. Okay, the other one would be happiness due to his own nature. Okay. I think let's see how they translate it. Yeah, his nature. Gare matra haya teriyaduratara bakasha agdahina maha maheshvare farera vilasa. Although the Lord's house displayed all the symptoms of poverty, he would make demands like the King of Kings. This is very interesting stories you're going to hear now. The word Daridra Tara Prakasha referred to the condition of poverty of an ordinary living entity. Wherever Sri Gaura Narayan, who's full with 6 opulences, is present, that place is devoid of poverty and want. The phrase Yena Maha Maheshwarera Vilasa referred to the independent will of Sri Narayan, who was full of 6 opulences. In other words, even though the house of Sachimata and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't apparently have so many opulences, he would start demanding things that apparently they didn't have. And that would really make his mother nervous. And you're going to hear about this. Ki takuka na takuka nahiko vichara kahile na paile raksha nahi ara. He never considered whether there was anything at home or not. If he didn't get what he demanded, there would be no escape from his wrath. Wrath means, of course, anger. Some of the stories tell that he would break everything down. Oh, this is what's being told here. Garadwara bangiya pilanase ikshane apanara apachaya tahanahi jane. He would even break the door of the house without considering that it was his loss. Oh my God, really destructive. Tatapyas chachiye jahina sekshane nanayatne dena putra snehera karane. Still out of affection, Shachi would try to immediately give him whatever he demanded. She would just let him get away with anything. Ekadina Prabhu Chalilena Ganga Snane Taila Amalaki Chahe Jananira Stane. This is giving you a very interesting story. One day, as the Lord prepared to go and take bath in the Ganges, he asked his mother for oil and amalaki. So Lord Chaitanya exhibited the symptoms here of being the crest jewel of the arrogant. And of course, after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, then the opposite was exhibited by him. Divyamala Sugandhi Chandana Deha Modhe Ganga Snana Kari Chana Ganga Puji Bhare. I want to worship the Ganges after taking bath. He said, so please give me a garland and some sandalwood paste. The word chana means want or desire. Jana Nira Kahena Papashuna Manadiya Shaneka Apekshakara Mala Anigiya. His mother replied, please listen, my dear child. I will go bring a garland. Just wait a moment. Anigiya ye matra shuni vachana krode rudra hai lena shatira nandara. As soon as he heard the words, I will go bring, the son of Shachi became as angry as Lord Rudra. In other words, he wanted immediately, right now. Oh my God. The word Rudra refers to Lord Shiva's form as the destroyer. It also means formidable, fierce, terrible, and blazing. Ekana yaiba tumi mala hani bare eta bali krudahana praveshila kare. You will go now to get a garland. In other words, it's not, you will go now to get a garland? Saying this, the Lord angrily entered the house. In other words, why didn't you have it ready for me before? You will go now? Rather than understanding what I would want before I ask for it. Yateka chila ganga jalera kalasa age saba bangi lena hai krodavasha. In an angry mood, the Lord first broke all the pots of Ganges water. Shoo! Taila grita lavana chila yate yate sarvachurna karilena tengalai hate. He then took a stick and broke the containers of oil, ghee, and salt to pieces. Remember, they had very little money externally. And this is whatever assets they had, at least things for cooking, whatever money they had, they spent on these things. They were gone now because of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's anger. Chotabadagare yata chila gata nama sababang Gilena Icha Maya Bhagavan. The Supreme Independent Lord then broke the small and big clay pots that were used for auspicious ceremonies. Wow, very destructive. Of course, you may say, why did he do this? He did this to bring out the mood of worry in the heart of his mother. And so this tasting different rasas, and the worry was based not because the mother was thinking, what will I eat? The mother was thinking, it's not the mother, Sachimata was thinking, what will Lord Chaitanya, sorry, I got my microphone pointed in the wrong direction. What will my little Nima eat? That's what she was thinking. So, it's just bringing out this mood, an intense ras. Well, gari ay gari taila gata dugda tandulakara pasha danyalona bari mudga. Oil, ghee, milk, rice, cotton, paddy, salt, bode, and mung dal were strewn throughout the entire house. What a mess he made. Nowadays, of course, you probably go 911 on him. The word lona is the corruption of the word lavana, which means salt. Yatekachila sika tanya koda veshe pele prabhu chindia. In an angry mood, the Lord tore down and smashed all the hanging pots. Phew! Things are hanging from the pots from the ceiling. It's hanging from the ceiling. The pots were just to protect them from bugs or snakes or whatever creatures. The word siga refers to a pot for keeping various things hanging from the ceiling by rope. Vastra ari yata kichu pailena kare kan kari chiri pele dui kare. He tore apart the cloth and everything else he found in the house. Oh my God. The word kan comes from the word kanda, which means pieces. The word churi comes from the Sanskrit root chid, which means to pierce or to cut. Sababhangi arakyari nahi avashesha tabi sheshe graha prati haila kruda veshe. After breaking everything, he directed his anger on the house. Oh my God. Dohatia tenga pare grehera upare hena prana nahi karo ye nisheda kare. Holding a stick in his two hands, he began striking the house. No one dared to restrain him. The phrase Dohatia tenga pare indicates that Nimai held a stick in his two hands and started beating. Dohatia means with two hands, Tenga comes from the word danda, which means stick, and pade comes from the Sanskrit word or root pada, which means to hit or to beat. So, all right, what's happening here? Okay, so when we experience anger, it's due to frustration, selfishness. And for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, it's due to his tasting the ras of anger and giving pleasure to his devotee, giving pleasure in the sense that his devotee is being in anxiety more. Shachimanta is being in more anxiety, thinking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's service. Wow. So, yes. So, whatever we experience in this world, including extreme anger, is also experienced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because He is the source of everything. All emotions He experiences too. Of course, in this material world, we are considered to be a perverted reflection or upside down reflection, or whatever you may call it, according to the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, which describes this material world as being like a reflection of a banyan tree that one sees on a body of water, and the roots are up and the branches are down. So that's the nature of this world. But everything you have in this world must be there in its pure state in the spiritual world, and this is what you're seeing here. So don't find fault in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but find fault in yourself when you actually experience these same emotions. I mean, we may get angry at our computer sometimes. We may get angry at anything because we should control it. And it's not enjoyable. Anger in this world is not enjoyable. Lust in this world is not enjoyable. None of these things, emotions in this world, are enjoyable. It's just like frustrating. It's like in class, one of the devotees was describing, it's like a black hole in space that sucks all your energy away. Anyway, Garadhara Vangi Sheshe Rikshare Dekiya Taharo Pare Tenga Pare Doha Tia. Then after smashing the doors in the house, he began hitting a tree with a stick. Tatapya Kruda Veshe Shama Nahi Haya Sheshe Prativite Tenga Nahi Samuchaya. Still his anger did not subside, and he began striking the earth. Grahera upante shachi shashankita haya mahabhaya chena yehena lukaya. Mother Shachi fearfully hid in the corner of the house. Now remember, he never hit anybody. That's the point. but he's bringing out certain emotions in people, emotions of worry, emotions of anxiety. Krishna does that. And I think Krishna does that with all of us, that he'll, maybe not the same pastime, but he'll bring out our anxiety, and the anxiety will peak, and then we must take shelter of him and think of him more. The word upante means at the end, in a corner or to one side. Dharma sapstapaka prabhu dharma sanatana jana nire hastadnahi tolena kakana. The Lord is the personification of religious principles. He invented to establish Sanatana Dharma, so he never tried to hit his mother. That's what shall I said. So, but don't go destroy everything in your house either. Etadrisha Kurodara, Achena Vyanjia, Tatapia Jananile, Na Marilagia. Although the Lord was filled with anger, he would not hit his mother. The word Vyanjia means by exhibiting or by manifesting. Sakala Banshia Sheshe, Asya Angane, Gadagadi, Yaite Lagila Mane. After breaking everything he could, the Lord finally began to roll in the courtyard out of anger. Woo! Shri Kalaganga, Haila Baluka Vishtita, Haila Mahok Shoba, Akatya Charata. As the golden limbs of the Lord became covered with sand, he appeared indescribably beautiful. The word Katya Charata means with indescribable glories. Katakshane Mahaprabhu, Gadagadi Diya, Stirahai Rahilena, Shayana Kariya. After rolling on the ground for some time, Gora calmed down as he continued lying there. Semate Drishti Kaila Yoga Nidra Pati Prativite Shri Ache Vaikuntara Pati. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha entered into Yoga Nidra as he lay there on the ground. So, let's say when an ordinary conditioned soul does such things, he just becomes unconscious. So when the Lord does such things, he doesn't become unconscious, but he goes internal, or always the Lord's internal. But anyway, I can't describe what he experiences. It's called Yoga Nidra. It means the rest or the sleep of connection. How can I describe it? The word Yoga Nidra indicates that the Lord slept with the help of Yogamaya, which is his independent spiritual nourisher of his transcendental pastime. So even in the spiritual world, resting is enjoyable by the devotees of Bhai Krishna. Anantara Shigra Vigrahe Yanhara Shayana Lakshmi Yanrapada Padma Seve Anukshana Charivede Prabhure Karyan Vaishane Se Prabhu Yayena Nidra Sachirangane. He who lies on the body of Ananta, he whose lotus feet are constantly served by the goddess of fortune, he who is to be known through the Vedas, that same Lord was now sleeping in the courtyard of Sachi. This is an amazing pastime. Excuse me. Ananta Brahmanda Yanra Loma Kupe Vase Shristi Stiti Pralaya Kariye Yanra Dase Brahma Shivadi Mata Yanra Gunadhyane Haila Prabhu Nidra Yana Sachirangane. He whose hair pores are the source of innumerable universes, he whose servants direct the creation, maintenance, and destruction of those universes, he whose glories intoxicate the minds of even Shiva and Brahma, that same Lord was now sleeping in the courtyard of Shachi. Now, another point that just came to mind is if we hear about the Lord's angry pastimes, guess what? Then that'll help us conquer our own, not pastimes of anger, but our own Maya anger. Yeah, it actually purifies one. Just after hearing this, I have no more anger. Hey Mata Mahaprabhu, Swanubhava Rasay, Nidrayaya Degi Sarva Deve Kande Asay. As the Supreme Lord thus relished Yoga Nidra, all the demigods either cried or laughed. They didn't know what was going on. Kathakshane Sachideve Mala Anaya Ganga Pujibara Saja Pratyaksha Kadhiya. Shortly thereafter, Sachidevi brought a garland and other ingredients for worshipping the Ganges. Woo! She is so tolerant. Also, what we're learning here is how tolerant a devotee should be, regardless of what situation a devotee puts you in. Wow. No mention of her ever getting angry. Just like the Lord may crush me by his embrace, leave me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, and will always remain my worshipful Lord unconditionally. How many mothers would be like this with their kid? Dire dire putrera siange hastadia. Tulajade tulite lakila devi gya. She slowly brushed the sand off the Lord's body and lifted him up. So much love. Uta uta papa mora heramala dara apana ichaya gya ganga puja kara. Get up, my dear son, open your eyes and take this garland. Go worship the Ganges as you desire. Oof. Balahaila bapa yata pelila bhangia yota yoka tomara saba balailaya. It is good that you have broken everything. I hope that all future impediments have been destroyed by this act. So, when Krishna does that to us, then we should understand that, whatever impediment we had, Krishna takes things away. They're being destroyed by Krishna. The word balai comes from the Arabian word balaha, which means danger, inauspicious, improper, or sinful. Janani Ravakya Shri Shri Gora Sundara Chalila Katite Stana Lajita Antara. On hearing his mother's words, Sri Gaurasundar felt embarrassed and went to take bath. So even this mood of embarrassment, a lamentation based on what you did, that's there in the Lord. I mean, it's amazing if you think about it. Every single conceivable emotion to the highest degree is experienced by God, Krishna, Nimai. Eta Shachi Sarva Griha Kariupaskara Randanera Udyoga Lagila Kadibara. Meanwhile, Mother Shachi cleansed the house or cleaned the house and prepared to cook. And one more verse. Yadyapiha prabhueta kare apachaya tatapi shachira chite dukanahi haya. Although the Lord destroyed so many things, Sachi did not feel any distress. Wow, that's a devotee. I'm not saying I'm at that level. Oh my God. And oh my God. That's a fact. All right, so in this happy note, actually, there's a happy end to the story, so we'll hear that tomorrow. Amazing story. So let's stop sharing. Well, thank you all for this, and let me hold on a second. Let me let you participants. Hold on a second, and let me let you unmute yourselves and ask some questions. Okay, you can now unmute yourselves. Anybody have a question? You can type in the, let me pick up the chat window again. It went away. You can type in the chat window, or you could raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself as we normally do, and ask a question about the pastime you just heard, which is an amazing pastime. But it really shows that all qualities, everything, comes from Krishna and is within Krishna. And why should we deny Krishna anything or any activity or any emotion that can be experienced even experienced in this material world? Where does it come from? So who has a question? So does anyone have a question? Yes, Gopal Das.
Please accept my obeisance, Shri Gurudev.
Yeah.
So we know that a pure devotee like Sri Jagannath Mishra will do anything to please Krishna, to please Lord Chaitanya. And so if it's his desire that he leave, he'll leave. But at the same time, we also read so many times where a devotee says, I can't bear to leave you. Like Srila Gadadhar Pandit in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya ordered him to stay and worship Tota Gopinath, but
Yeah.
Sri Gadadhar Pandit disobeyed. So we're seeing sort of two separate ways of interacting and pleasing the Lord. Can you shed some light on the differences?
Well, he was internally, I mean, externally, it looked like he disobeyed, but internally, Lord Chaitanya was pleased with his. See, we're looking at things externally, and that may give us the wrong impression. Uh, but he wouldn't do anything. Gadadhar Pandit Goswami wouldn't do anything that would displease the Lord. So the Lord was actually testing him by saying, "You can't come with me." And when Gadadhar Pandit Goswami came with him, then Gadadhar Pandit Goswami passed the test because Lord Chaitanya wanted to see if he would be ready, if you read the story, he'd be ready to renounce the things that were so important to him in life just to be with Lord Chaitanya. And he was. He was ready. And so Gadadhar Pandit actually did what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. Not what he said, but what he wanted. So we have to understand, I mean, a pure servant like Gadadhar is a Gadadhar Pandit Goswami is able to ascertain the Lord's desire and sometimes see the desire of the Lord. It may be contradicted or in contradicted by what the Lord says, or the Lord desire. Oh yeah, the Lord may contradict his own desire. So anyway, so that's there. Goes Ganadhar Banda Goswami would never act against the Lord's desire, and ultimately he was ordered to go back. And it's not that he wanted to do it, but he went back, ultimately following the Lord's order. But it was actually, oops, getting a little blurry here. It was actually the plan of the Lord that Gadadhar Pandit would do that.
And
So,
so it was the plan of the Lord for Lord Jagannath Mishra to
yes,
also leave at that time.
yes, yes. Whatever happens is always the plan. No one can circumvent the plan of the Lord.
Hmm.
Not you, not anyone. So, if we hear about the Lord with his anger, then you lose your anger. That's a really important lesson. And if you hear about the Lord being a superhero, you lose your own desire to become a superhero. I'm not referring to anyone in particular right now. So anyway, so here's the question: what a fantastic pastime! Can't wait to. He's even more naughty than Braja Lord Krishna. How old was Lord Chaitanya at this stage? I assume he was like a teenager at this particular point because he got married when he was a teenager. So anyway, here's another one. Here's a question. I have a question from a previous call. Lord Shiva has five faces. It's called, yeah, Lord Shiva is called five-faced Lord Shiva. Uh, and exactly what Lord Chaitanya studied, he was expert in Nyaya. Nyaya means like logic, things like that. And Nyaya, basically Nyaya. And that's why he was able to defeat anybody well, I mean, he was able to defeat them because he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's expert in everything, but he was studying Nyaya. Okay, that's a good question. So who else has a question? Any other questions about Lord Chaitanya's anger or Nimai's anger here? Quite intense. Quite intense. And probably more mischievous than Krishna. I mean, I just lost my own anger after hearing this story. I can't get angry now. Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. So this is the way to become Shanti. So anyone else have a question? If not, we can end because we have 2 more minutes. Oh, there's one new message here. One devotee said to me, he said, sometimes he's been the object of my blissful, loving anger. He said, I'm so happy to hear that you lost your anger. Well, for right now. Tomorrow we'll talk about it. Okay, on that happy note, thank you very much. All glory is to His divine grace. A